In this video, we're going to walk through the ETC color source lighting console connected to the panel lights on the grid of the 708 photo and video studio at Loyola University, Chicago. So there's a set of faders on the ETC console that are connected to our grid lights 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Light number 1, if I want to activate light number 1 to start adjusting, I'm going to click just one and it lights up, and I can use the fader to control the intensity of the light. While number 1 is activated and the fader has been pushed up a little bit, from there I can start to make adjustments within the color, the temperature, the tint of that particular light source on the screen. So I have light number 1 currently set to about 45%. The Color XFade is what's going to be the difference between using white light or balanced light versus Adobe RGB full spectrum color light. When Color XFade is set to 0, I can control the color temperature from very, very warm light on the Kelvin spectrum to very, very cool light. And we have 0 to 255 as our hexadecimal values. 144, which is not related to Kelvin, but it is related to DMX, is approximately the color temperature of white light. So I'm using my finger to just pull this up to 144, and that's where I've got a really nice daylight balanced white light for photo critiques or for print viewings. And then I can adjust the intensity with the fader on this side. If I want to use this as a color light or a color gel light, I'll take the Color XFade value all the way up to 255, which enables me to affect the color temp. From there, I'm going to bring the color temp listed down to 0, but I'm going to go into my color tab, and from there, I can select a color from this full RGB field to start adjusting the color of light number 1. If I am wrapped up, I just pull the fader back down to 0. I can also do 2 lights at the same time. If I, for example, enable lights number 3 and 5, it looks like 4 also clicked on, so I'm going to disable 4. And lights 3 and 5, as I pull those faders up, are the backdrop lights. And these are the ones that you'll be using most commonly if you're looking at prints or you're engaged in a critique of photographic work. So 3 and 5, I've got the Color XFade set to 0 and the color temp is at 144. So I'm using these as a nice daylight balanced light. And of course, if you want to experiment with various RGB values, you can set up each light independently from each other and adjust the color fade, Color XFade to 255. For example, I'm only looking at light number 2 right now. Go into color and add a little bit of a pink magenta wash. Disable number 2. I can go to number 3 and add a little bit of a blue. But I have to make sure, in order for that blue to work, I'll set my color temp to 0, my Color XFade to 255, and now I'm seeing the blue that's being reflected on the RGB spectrum. And then light number 4 is actually our hair light. So I'm going to enable that light. It's going to be pretty bright for the camera. It only has a grid and a softbox on it. And I can also adjust that particular light. But I have the opportunity to do full RGB spectrum as well as regular white light. And when I'm wrapped up with the ETC console, I'm just going to turn all of my faders to 0 and call it a day.